All right, good morning folks, and welcome back to my channel. I appreciate you stopping back by. These are my lovely little pups. Today we're going to be doing a special video for some good friends of mine that's been requesting this, and as you can see, my dogs want to go out, so let's go. Come on, pups. All right. Ugh. There we go. Today, as you can see, that's Paisley. I got a couple cicadas sleeping out here on the patio. Must have been a long night. I see a beer top there. Sophie? Oh, you're waking them up. She's waking the cicadas up. Come on, girl. Wouldn't be surprised if one of them ate one of those cicadas anyway. So we're going down here to check out a few things. Princess. So first of all, because I got dogs, they urinate back here, which gives the yard some stains. The grass needs to be mowed today, so I will be mowing it. So let's start here. All right, now what this is right here is just basically dead grass, and it's from beetles and ground bugs. It's just been going in and eating it, and some of it has been killed from the dogs just using the bathroom back here. So I'm used to that with my backyard. I usually cut it about 4 inches, and that's the backyard and the rest of my lawn also. I usually cut it about 4 inches. No lower than 4 inches will give you a pretty decent yard if you're taking care of it and it's getting all the nutrients it needs and stuff like fertilizers and aeration, stuff like that. But just a basic lawn, you want to cut it no lower than about 4 inches. That'll start you to getting healthy. You don't want to be cutting it 4 inches if you're not growing anything but weeds though, because that won't do anything for you but just grow you a bad lawn. Now I used to have a real bad mold problem back here, but looks like we took care of that with a couple traps, which this one's old. It's been here for a while, but we took care of them with that. And now everything's pretty good, basically. I'll take you out and show you the rest of my lawn. Alright, so this is the side of my house right here. This part of the lawn is fairly nice. I mean, even though my house, this side sits on the east side and it's just beaming with sun all day long, there's not really a lot of shade over here, but this is about 6 inches maybe. The only thing the sun kills my hostas that I put here because it gets so hot. But like I said, it needs mowing today. I have a lawn service that comes out and puts down my fertilizer and aerate for me and all that good stuff, spray for weeds. And I just kind of just maintain and mow. That's really it. That'll give you an advance on your lawn. If you have a type of lawn service that comes out and do that, you can mow it yourself, but it kind of gives you a boost when you have somebody that can come out and kind of treat the lawn like it needs to be treated. Let's see. This is my neighbor's lawn here. They got a pretty decent lawn, but as you can see, compared to mine, it's pretty dried out. That one's not getting enough water, probably like yours, and mine's, I'm on it every day, so that's why it looks like this. Now I still have some rough spots out here, but for the most part, it's about 95%. See here, this is the front lawn. It's not too bad. I got brown leaves falling to the ground because I had Japanese beetles real bad this year, so they basically ate a nice portion of my tree's leaves. But I always fertilize the roots in the spring so that the tree gets the poison in it. It's fertilizer to the tree, but poison to the beetles. The tree drinks that up, and then when the beetles eat the leaves, they just fall to the ground and start dying. And what I use is, I have to go in my garage. Is some good old Bayer Advanced Tree and Shrub Protect and Feed. My tree takes about 2 to 3 of these, and it gives you instructions on how to mix it with water, because you got to get a nice blend in order for it to work, and you have to spread it right. But all of the instructions is on the bottle. That Bayer Advance, it's some really good stuff. So that's what I use to treat my tree every spring, usually early spring before it starts getting really hot and the tree starts blooming. I'll fertilize it with that. Got a few weeds here. We'll just get rid of that. Now what you don't want to do, you don't want to have if you're getting leaves like this, you don't want to have a bunch of them in the lawn, because it turns into thatch, which will smother out your grass growth. So basically, having a lot of leaves on your lawn, that can kill your grass also, just as well as not enough water, or maybe grubs or bugs in the ground. So if you see stuff like this, make sure you take a blower or something, blow it out or rake it up, because it's actually bad for the grass. Today I'll be blowing all this out of here and getting it cleaned up. As far as watering go, you don't want to overwater, and you don't want to underwater. So get yourself a timer or something like this, and usually every section of your lawn, if you don't have a sprinkler system or you don't have a watering unit that'll spread out, you want to do about 60 minutes per section. Just turn it on to 60, walk away, and then when that's done, you just move your sprinkler to another spot and do the same thing again till you've hit all of the areas of your yard. Another thing, also remember that when you water, you want to water like bright and early in the morning, between maybe 7 and 8 a.m. And if you can't make it then, you want to shoot for between 5 and 6 p.m. in the evening. But you never want to water past that or water at night, because your grass will develop bacteria. Don't water after 6 p.m. and don't water it at night. Bright and early, or between 5 and 6 p.m. The yard usually only needs that watering twice a week. That's really it. I've done it 3 times this week just because it's been so droughty, and as you can see, the ground is still somewhat moist looking, which is good because we've been in the hundreds for the last few days here. Besides that, that's basically what I do with the lawn to keep it healthy. The cicadas and the ground wasps. Basically, the ground wasps, they live underground, so they usually come when it's real droughty and hot during the late summer times like now. Right here, we have a dead cicada. I don't know if you can see that. He's got like earth powder on him, and that takes care of the wasp, but you got to get it inside of their holes. Just dust it, and once that gets on them, they will pretty much dehydrate and die out within a week or so. So if you're seeing those holes, what you want to do is go to a hardware store or somewhere and get you some of this earth powder. That's what you'll need right there. I put mine in a little container like this with the funnel, and then you just kind of dust it. I'll show you how. See here. So I got some of my bricks. You just kind of, see, there you go, just kind of dust. The dust will get on them, and it dehydrates any bug. It doesn't only kill ground wasps, it kills ants, spiders, silverfish, you name it. This year I had 2 spots. I had this one right here, and then another one up by my front porch. Okay, this is the second ground wasp nest by my front porch. Both of these nests have been dried out, and what I mean by dried out is basically I dusted them about 4 days ago, and the wasps have been affected by the powder, so there's no more activity going on here. Basically, they fly into the trees, the cicadas rest in the trees and chirp all night. Well, the ground wasps, they fly into the trees, they sting the cicadas, which numbs them, basically paralyzes them, and then they grab a hold of them, fly them out the tree. Although the ground wasp is smaller than the cicada, he carries him out the tree and then flies them down to their little ground hole, and then the hole's usually pretty big. Let's see, yeah, there's one right there. He takes that big guy, walks him down into his nest, and then his larva's down there. They feed on him. Now at the time, the cicada, he'd be stunned, so he can't move. So basically, he's alive still, but he dies not able to move, because once they start drinking him, it's dinner time and it's over. So that's what I wanted to point out. Ground wasps hunt cicadas, and that's why if you're seeing these holes around your lawn, they're digging to make underground nests for new ground wasps, and they feed off of the cicadas. Okay, we're going to talk about this tree and these Japanese beetles, but I got to make a run. So sorry folks, I had to jump into the car. I had to make a run, but we can still take this yard thing on the road with us. I will put up a list of things that the Japanese beetles like and don't like right up at the top of the screen so you can see it. It should be up there. And if you have those type of trees or plants, then you're lucky, because those are trees and plants that they actually don't like to eat. If you don't see your tree or plants on the list, then they absolutely love those and they will eat them. They will come back every year and eat your tree leaves and your plants. Now, how I learned this was from life and experience and taking losses. A time came when I used to ask myself, why are all the leaves falling off my tree in the middle of summer and the weather's beautiful? That's what I used to ask myself, and I never could figure it out. And I would see the beetles flying around, but I didn't know that they was actually eating the leaves and then killing the leaves, making the leaves fall off my tree. So over time I discovered it. I talked to a few people, got the ideas about the Bayer fertilizer, and that stuff works great for me every year. I fertilize my tree every year with it. Here's how it works. They'll fly into the tree. Well, actually, they're not flying into the tree. They're coming out of your yard and going back into the tree if you're having this problem. Because what the Japanese beetle does is they fly into the tree, they eat all the leaves off, they poop everywhere. You'll see like black, gritty, pellet looking stuff down on the ground. That's their poo. And then they'll drop their larvae, or they will fly down into your grass, embed their larvae into your lawn, and then the larvae will burrow down under the ground, deep under the ground, until after winter. When spring comes, mid-spring, I want to say July, somewhere in there, June, July, the larvae are now grown enough from eating all your grass roots underground because that's what's killing your grass. If your grass is just, when the larva goes under the grass into the ground, they survive off the roots to your grass all winter. So your grass is already dying before it's had a chance to grow. These beetles are really hard to get rid of. They've been with me now for about 5 years. I have to constantly overseed my lawn. I have to constantly aerate all the time. Spring, fall, it's a mess. But that's what they do. They burrow into the ground. The larvae come back up when they're big enough. They fly back up into your tree, and the cycle just keeps going over and over again every year. I get most of them with the Bayer, and I use some insecticides, but not unless they're really bad. I haven't done that in a few years because I don't like to use the insecticide, and I added more Bayer this year. I used to use 2 cans of it. Now I'm using 3. So that worked pretty well. By midsummer, they were done. I had killed enough of them to where I guess they just gave up on the tree, and now the leaves are just falling down into my yard, and I got to keep getting those up every week. With that said, with your yard at about 4 inches high, you'll be mowing at least twice a week. Mine's was about 6 inches when I cut it today. Anyway, back to the lawn. Okay, so now we're all mowed up and done and looking sharp again. I just want to note something that I left out. Your yard only needs about 1 inch of water a week, maybe a little more, but 1 inch is about all it really needs. So keep that in mind when it's raining or you're watering it for that hour per section. A couple times a week, it only needs 1 inch of water. So just keep that in mind, because if you overwater, then you will get fungus in the lawn, which looks similar to this, but this is just dried out grass, but it looks similar to this. It'll turn brown, maybe even yellow, and get what's called like dollar signs. It'll be like these snake little lines that's really yellow. You'll know because it'll be odd for green grass. So make sure you're not overwatering, and make sure that your lawn is getting at least 1 inch of water a week. Right now it's got a few spots, but for it being drought lately, it doesn't look bad. And just make sure your blades are sharpened on your mower. You don't want to be cutting your grass with dull blades, because bacteria will build up on the blades, and then you will have bacterial problems. And remember, don't overwater. About 60 minutes per section in each area, maybe twice a week, and you should be pretty healthy. Well, besides that, folks, that's really about it. Hey, princess. Sophie. Hey, Sophie. And I bet you my dogs ate these cicadas up here. Hey, Bear. What you eating, buddy? Oh, yeah, you're eating cicadas, huh? Mm-hmm. Move. Yeah, I know he's dead. Yeah, these dogs, I was going to use the hose to kind of wake them up, but the dogs ate them, so that's not going to happen. Come on. Okay, folks, to wrap things up, I had some friends ask me about this a while back, and hope that the video helped y'all out and you learned a little bit about something in my yard. Normally you'd find me in my lab behind some turntables somewhere, but today, this morning, I decided to get up and just come out and talk about my yard a little bit. So I hope the video was really helpful to you. I appreciate you watching. Make sure you subscribe, hit that like button, hit that bell, and I'll see you guys in the mix again. Till then, have a good day.